Okay, so here we are outside the garage, just taking a look in, and you can see the tent. So the tent is 16 by 9. It's a 12-man tent, and you can get these on Amazon for around 320 bucks, I think. And as you can see, it fits pretty well into a single car space in the garage. Uh, Coming out of there is the pipe, which is leading up to a filter system, and that pipe goes over this way to the man door, so that when the garage door is closed, it's still able to ventilate outside without a problem. The tent goes all the way back, but I still have some space to kind of get by here in between the table saw, and it kind of makes it all the way up. You can see that I've got some lights attached to the garage door, and I'm just going to close that garage door here to give a feel for how that works. Notice it never really hits anything, gets pretty close there. The reason the pipe is up there is to prevent the garage door trip sensors, the little sensors down here, which tell it that it's this little guy down here. It's got the laser beam that goes across there, and if the pipe was on the ground, it would kind of interfere with that laser and the door wouldn't close properly. But it fits in here pretty well. I've got like a little mat there. I wipe my feet off before I go in. And that's how that all sort of fits in there. Let's go back around the back side. Here's the pipe leading over here to the vent on the outside. I can go out that door. And here's the door going in on this side. There's not one on the other side. We can make it back here. There's one of the fans on the ground. There's another one back here and one up on top, so that kind of keeps air flowing in that direction through from back to front. There's another one tucked in there down at the bottom on the inside, just to sort of keep things circulating. Just barely kind of squeezed in on this side. But generally speaking, it works pretty well. All right, so here's the turbine for the Apollo HVLP system. The sprayer, and I put that in here because it is pretty loud, and it also protects it from any fumes or overspray, so the filters will last a lot longer. You can see I've also got some other stuff in here. I've got a compressor, shop vac, and a big old dust collection system, and all of those come out at various places. There is a vent above the dust collection system for air getting out, and this whole thing then sits in here, so we can turn the light off, close that door, this one, and then that's kind of what's going on there. So we've got kind of a place that I'm hanging clamps, and then there's the shop vac. The pipe, the black pipe goes along there for the HVLP system, which can also wrap around here. And then that just sort of makes its way over to the tent, which happens to have a little slot here for power, because what 12-man tent wouldn't be complete without a power slot? And that goes on the inside there. All right, so now we're inside the tent, and this is one of the projects I've been working on. I'm working on a grate for a furnace intake system, and it's just kind of sitting here on top of a little modified Polk bench that I put together. It's a 3x4. I've got a couple of those that I can sit next to one another. Little spray test space. Some of my equipment for the system, all the sprayer and everything is in there. A little fan, and here's the pipe. Kind of comes up and over. It's just hung there now for the heck of it, and then off it goes to the front. So there's the roof above us. Plenty of room to stand up in here all the way around. I just barely buzzed my head as I come over to the side, and the fans all kind of blow the air in this direction, and then I've got a big filter system here below me on the floor. What's really interesting is that I was spraying this. I didn't see any overspray at all except for what hit around the bottom here. But you'll notice the floor is clean as could be, and there was really no visible sign of any overspray in the air. However, on the filter system, look at that. That thing got just dark red. This was all white, like this space out here when I started. And I think if I roll over, yep, there's the fresh virgin filter on the outside. This thing sits over a carbon-based filter and gets pulled through this 8-inch pipe off to the door over there. But man, I had no idea that there was this much stuff in the air after I had left until a little while later, and I saw that that thing had darkened up. So there was definitely a lot of particulate matter in the air, finer than I could see, but boy, there it is. I'm glad I was wearing a respirator, but it didn't get anywhere out into the room that I can see at all. There's no residue anywhere else in the space out there. There's no residue anywhere on the surface of the tent. It just kind of created just enough chamber that it brought the space, or it directed the air through and down towards the filter there. So it must have come through and then down to that filter where it got caught. I suppose I could close a lot of the vents. The ceiling does not close. There's a fly that comes separately with this. But that's really nice to have, because that way the light gets in without any issue. We've got the lights out front there, and when the garage door is open, these two lights are replaced with the lights that are attached to the door. So I think by closing some of these vents over here and maybe leaving that one open, and then the air that kind of circulates over the top, I might be able to channel the overspray even better towards the filter down there. But generally speaking, it seems to have worked well just the way it is. Obviously, the other advantages to this space is I don't have any dog hair because I've got a couple of labs and a cat. None of that got in here and on the surface of this. No bugs. And it just really seems to have helped contain and shape the air coming through this space to get caught over here and to keep me safe. So I like it. This tent felt very extravagant when I was starting out, but I really like the way it came out. I did put an additional tarp and then a canvas, plastic backed canvas on the bottom here. It really serves most of all as a nice white space here so that I can tell if there's any dirt. Looks like there's a little bit of, no, that's all just random stuff. So this is pretty good how it is. When I leaned over there, I hit a button in my pocket. So let's see what that looks like. And that's how that works there. So that kind of comes up at top, shows, you know, these are the lights as they are with the door open. And let's close that while we're in here. Fancy. Kind of neat. And that's the spray booth in the garage.